And hello, everybody, and welcome to the DeFrancis Dash Day edition of This Week at Law. My name's John Piasek. I will be taking you through the Law Park card today, and this is a bonanza of a race day. 12 races are on the schedule. There are 7 stakes headlined by the Grade 3 Frank J. DeFrancis Memorial Dash, which drew a field of 7, headlined by before Whitmore, who won the Maryland Sprint Stakes back in May at Pimlico. Last time out, he third in the True North, coming off a layoff here, and he will be the favorite, no doubt about it. However, I think he can be upset, and we'll get to that in a moment. In the meantime, we're about to embark on this 12 race extravaganza. Main track's supposed to be fast. Grass is supposed to be firm. Most stakes are on the grass. Do want to note that yesterday, Thursday, Victor Carrasco and Jose Ferrer were injured in spills at Delaware Park. Obviously, neither one are going to be riding at Laurel on Saturday. Both are named on several horses, and I will note when they have a mount, and that way the appropriate jockey change is going to be announced on Saturday morning. And of course, just follow at This Week at LRL, my Twitter account, This Week at Laurel, and you can find out all the jockey changes that you have to know. Alright, so let's begin here. We have 2 everyday races, 2 claimers, and then we'll begin on the stakes. Race 1, claiming field, $5,000, non-winners of a race since March 16th of this year, or non-winners of 4 lifetime going 6 furlongs. On the main track, field of 8 here. This begins the early pick 5. Top pick in here is number 1, Meta Marla Melva, who just won a Timonium for $4,000. Last time out, came from a little bit off the pace at Timonium. Not an easy thing to do. Started off in post 7, made a rally from about 3 lengths out of it, and got up to win. Ran a very respectable business speed figure of 73. Prior to that, didn't do so hot at this level off 2 races ago. However, was wide in that race. It was the first start off layoff, and it was over and off track. Now she'll be in her first start off of the layoff here. Draws the inside post, so she'll be doing a lot better. And of course, will be again not as wide, and should be a little bit fresher over the fast track. Of course, Jamie Ness, a great trainer. He is 27%, third off a layoff, and notably, trying to get back in the swing of things here. Notably, in the past, the Tampa Bay Downs ran a figure of 80 back in January. January 29th, won by a length and a quarter, going 6.5 furlongs at this $5,000 level. Earned a figure of 80, much better than most horses in the field have done in their careers. Of course, a 73 toothback was probably a consequence of that long layoff, and then figures at Timonium almost never as high, and does have a bit of early speed. Of course, early speed at Laurel so far has been an asset at 6 furlong races. Just about every winner at 6 furlongs has been from on or near the pace in the first 2 days of a meet. This was filmed before Friday's races. However, I have to imagine it's going to be a very similar pattern. So Meta Marla is top pick here in race 1. I would call Miss Swisher number 8 a low price on the morning line. I don't care for it at all. She's taking a big drop down in class, coming in from Charlestown. Has not been running great figures at all. Has not run a figure that's really competitive since June 10th, when she won for non-winners of 3 and went off in that race at 2-5. She's not good enough to be 2-5 here. She's going to be up against it. Another horse to note is number 7, Northern Prancer, who will be coming from the back of the pack. It is going to be a talent. However, she is a horse to consider using underneath. Ran 2 good figures in a row at Laurel Park, to 79 and 82, 2 and 3 back, respectively. Came in second in both of those starts. And then last time out, tried to be a closer at Timonium. You know how that went. It didn't go well. Now she gets over a more fair Laurel track and should be able to run a lot better. Race number 2 here is a claiming race, $10,000. Now is a 2 lifetime going 7 furlongs. You have 9 lines up here. There are a few horses who can win this one. Most likely winner is going to be a very low price, so maybe not the best win proposition, and that is number 6, My Golden Rose, coming off here of an 8-day layoff. Was last seen at Belmont Park with $25,000, came in 4th after racing wide, didn't run a great figure, and prior to that had actually been at Laurel and broke her maiden for $40,000. Victor Carrasco is named to ride this horse. Of course, he will not. He broke his leg at Delaware on Thursday. Of course, best wishes for a speedy recovery to Victor. So this horse, it's gonna be interesting to see who gets named on, because of course, pretty much anybody besides Carrasco is a big drop in quality. Opening weekend, he went 7 for 20 in money. Certainly not a bad proposition. This filly has been showing some speed. It's going to be on or near the pace. It's a small sample size so far in 7 furlong races. However, at 7 furlongs, not having early speed is not as big of a deterrent as it is at 6 furlongs. Both winners so far at 7 furlongs as of Friday morning both came from off the pace. So it's so far it's a little bit fairer. Because the extra furlong of distance does help out horses as far as making a closing rally goes. So in the past, My Golden Rose, her peak figure is 80. She's done a 79 twice, and she's always in the mid-70s and has packed a good late closing punch. The only time she really didn't was going a mile and a 16th at Belmont Park back in May. That's when she tried to show speed, was dueling for the front, and just did nothing. Wound up losing by 14 lengths. Now faces much better competition, but of course, because she's a Belmont tripper and is taking a big drop down in class from open claimers down to restricted, she's going to get a lot of money. Another New York Invader here is the early speed. That's number 4, North 8th Street, last seen at Saratoga on August 28th. Showed early speed at 8-5 and stopped. Came in 4th, beaten by 5 lengths. Hasn't had a workout since then. Did come in 2nd at on August 4th at Saratoga against similar horses. It was an novice a 2 claiming field at Saratoga. Now goes novice a 2 at Laurel. So fairly similar. Obviously, going down to Laurel is a bit of a class drop. However, it's not. It is at the end of the day the same conditions. Only problem here, she's 1 for 15 lifetime, has not won a race in the calendar years of 2017 or 2016. Does make her debut down on Maryland Circuit for Raymond Handel, who hits at 18%. With his shippers, heavy on Toledo picks up the mount on this filly and should be showing some speed from posting before, and there's really not a lot of serious competition down to the inside, so she'll be showing pace, and her goal is to go to the front and stay there, and if she can get a fairly cushy opening quarter or half mile, she could be tough to catch. Right, and a long shot possibly is number 1, Fair Me. Second, 3 times in a row, the dude comes in Penn National, cuts back in distance, has been going 2 turns in her last 3 races, has been showing much improving form. Her career best figures have each come in her last 2 races. Got an 82 back at Laurel, going a mile and 16, stalked the pace, led briefly, got caught late, but was 10.5 lengths clear of a 3rd place finisher in that race, only lost by a half length. Then went to Penn National, stalked the pace, just couldn't get by after being wide. Should save ground here, and she could be a intriguing long shot possibility if you don't want to go with the New York Invaders. So 6, 1, and 4 are the 3 most likely winners if you play the pick 5 or the pick 4, which starts in that race. There's 3 pick 4s, and the first one begins in race 2. If you want to start with those 3, that's a good way to go. Alright, and now we start on the stakes. This is the $100,000 Selima Stakes. 2-year-old fillies, 6 furlongs on the turf course. Not a commonly run distance, however, they are shaking things up today. Field of 9 goes here. Very interesting field, very difficult field to figure out. A lot of these horses have not run on grass before, and those that have not really raced with much distinction. One exception is number 8, Wise Gal. And of an 18-1 in her debut back on August 11th at Laurel, stalked the pace, battled down the stretch and got up to win by a half length. Visually, not a terribly impressive race. However, the speed figure was very big, with a 94 there. That just blows everybody else out of the water. In fact, it's the best last out figure in the field by about 18 points. So she can drop down by 10 points, by 15 points even, and still win pretty comfortably. So even a big aggression would get the job done. She didn't have a lot of workouts going into that debut, only 3, and has not worked out since. A little bit of a cause for concern. Trainer Dove Houghton had a solid little summer meet, went 22% there. Steve Hamilton retains the mount. This one is going to stalk the pace, and of course it is hard to gauge how a horse is going to do second time out, especially with only one race under her belt. However, if Wise Gal does go back to her last race, she's going to be very, very tough. Other horses to discuss here. There's actually 2 horses in the field exiting stakes at Saratoga and a stakes winner down in Florida. So let's talk about those. Number 3, Proportionality, won her maiden on July 9th by a length and a quarter here at Laurel. Did not earn a great speed figure. It was visually a pretty impressive race, and of course, Andy Sagamore, the past horse, is going to be a horse who gets buzz. Went into Saratoga in the Adirondack Stakes, went off at 22-1 and just did nothing. Lost by 21 lengths. Not a great race. Now comes back in here, has not worked out since. The Paz, not an especially great grass trainer. He's better with dirt horses. And the horse is grass breeding, not really stand out either. So she'll be an interesting one to keep an eye on, because if she does not take to the grass, it'll be interesting to see what her next career move is. She's a Maryland bred. Don't know. I am not sure if her sire, Discreet Cat, makes her a Maryland Million eligible to road fairly. Otherwise, she'd be an interesting horse for that race. Before Mel's Going Wild is a horse I bet on in her last race. She showed a lot of cheap speed at Parks, and bringing her maiden back in June and ran a huge speed figure. I bet her in her next start, Schuylerville Stakes at 9-1 odds, because I figured she had post 1, and if she could show speed, it would be over. She actually ran a pretty big pace figure, however, could not make the front and wound up finishing up the track. Carmouche does not stay aboard. Daniel Centeno, who didn't ride much at the Laurel Summer Meet, however, when he did, he had 27%. He's coming in here for the mount. This horse has worked solidly at Parks, 2 bullet workouts since then. Kathleen DeMasi, also not a great grass trainer. However, this filly does have tons of speed, will almost certainly be on or near the pace, and we'll see how she does. I think she could be a sneaky long shot. If a public is scared off by her last race, which is a definite possibility, and she's like 6-7-1, definitely horse who is a possible win proposition. The one light up the town is a Wesley Ward 2-year-old, another one to show early speed. Broke maiden at Monmouth Park last out on August 11th. Took the pace. No, took the pace. It's not the term. Took the lead. Found time. Raw found time. Very impressive in 57 seconds flat. Speed figure not fit. Only a 76 X. How she can improve off of that. Has worked out well at Keeneland since that race, and definitely is one to keep in mind. And last but not least, number 9, Rose to Fame, is the stakes winner in here. She won the Brave Raj last time out at Gulfstream Park. Stalked the pace, just got up, won by a neck. Speed figure not great at 67. Makes the first start for Michael Matz, only 14% with first on the grass, as part of the ROI is positive. And this is her first start in that barn after racing under Florida-based Antonio Pano for her first 2 races. Grass breeding looks fairly decent here. Should stalk the pace on far outside. Late pace has not been great and is stretching out to 6 furlongs for the first time. Watch the board on her. I think she will be around 8-10-1, and we'll see how her future turns out. So some possibly bright futures in race number 3. Race 4, back to the claiming she made, and claiming 2-year-olds going 5 furlongs on the main track. Field of 10 here. The horse I like the most in what is a tough race, because A lot of first-time starters, not a ton of promise in any of these. However, one horse jumps off. That's number 7, Enchanted Star, who came second in her last race. A very good speed figure, raced wide throughout, and post 8 of 9, now gets post 7 out of 10, so again, kind of a wash. Does drop down from Maryland bred maiden special weight down to maiden claiming. Gets first time Lasix, a good angle. Hagera Capuano, who is 3 for 10 and a positive ROI in that stat. 32% in their second career race. A great sign. Should definitely be overbet, but I think she's as much the best in here. And if you plan a pick 4 or a pick 5, and you are looking for a single, this is probably the horse to do it with. And as far as first time starters go, there are 6 of them in here. What I like the most out of those is the one Bay of Cats has turned in good work at the Pimlico. Most recently did 4 furlongs at 49 and 2 fifth seconds. Does draw the inside. Has had 8 workouts, a good sign. Horse has been working in the form. So if you are looking for a long shot, possibly beat Enchanted Star, that's the safest bet. Alright, so here is the meat and potatoes of the racing card. It's the stakes. This is a Laurel Dash. It's for 3 olds and up. It goes 6 furlongs. The race is $100,000, so it can be graded in the future. And this is a pretty, for a ace that's only a few days after the Turf Monster Stakes at Parks, which drew many of the finest turf sprinters on the East Coast. This race drew a very solid field, so good job by the Laurel Racing Office to get this kind of quality. Interesting to note, it is a field of 10. Blue Moon Ace on the outside is cross-entered in the DeFrancis Dash. However, in his most recent grass race, he came in 4th. Didn't run great. He's shown much better form on dirt. I would imagine he's going to be in on dirt. We'll see. So, actually, is a horse in here coming out of the Turf Monster Stakes. That's number 8, Snow Day, who is supposed to be ridden by Jose Ferrer. That is not going to be the case because Ferrer was injured in that spill at Delaware Park on Thursday, so a new jockey is going to be announced on race day. Stay tuned for that announcement. This horse stalked the pace, battled for the lead for 21 and 4, 45 fractions at Parks over the 5 furlong track. Went off at 15-1 and ran pretty well. Lost to 2 very, very good grass sprinters in Pure Sensation and Mongolian Saturday. We got a big figure of 92. That's very good for this kind of race, and has shown a good form in the past too. 2 starts back, he won a stakes at Monmouth Park, battled on the pace, held on to win by almost 3 lengths, and ran a very good figure of 94. 3 starts back, it was his 2017 debut at Parks in a starter allowance race. He's again battled for the pace, 1 going away, big figure of 93. So he really has not messed up in 3 races so far this year. He is going to be on the lead. He's got a decent late pace kick. In fact, he's got best early pace numbers and 3rd best average late pace in the field. So he'll be gunning for it. He's got the class. He's got the speed. He is the most likely winner. He will be the favorite, though, so I'll give you some options if you want to try to bet against. Number 6, Dream Mover. Last year raced in Europe. He traveled to Italy for a Group 3 stakes there. Came in 2nd place. Was laid off and then came back at Saratoga in a number of 1 under that allowance where he stalked the pace, swooped wide, and got the job done, win by 3/4 of a length. And a solid figure of 90 that day, which is not great on surface. However, since it was his first start off that long layoff, it's a sign that he's going to possibly improve going forward here. Tyler Gaffalione comes in for the mount. Junior Alvarado stays in New York to run. Jimmy Jerkins doesn't send too many down here. It looks like he's looking for a chance to pick up an easy 60K here with Dream Mover. A long shot possibility here is number 4, Rapid Dan. Has not been running great on the synthetic at Presque Isle Downs or on the dirt at Parks, and that is kind of obscuring his form. However, if you look at only his grass races, especially his grass races this year, he's been running very well. He was in an open allowance back at Laurel on August 6th, close and far behind. Got up to win by 2 lengths, going away on a figure of 94. Get Sheldon and Russell off, and Russell has been in a slump so far at Laurel. He didn't win a race opening weekend. Now he gets heavy on Toledo in Estelle, who rode this horse to a 4th place finish at Parks in an off the grass Stakes 2 weeks ago. Now it turns to Lawn. Did a 93 when coming in fourth against Novice of one under that allowance company earlier in the year. Interestingly, Rapid Dan had been 0 for 11 on the grass prior to that last race. That's why he went off such a high price. So it's unclear for now as to whether or not that's just an illusion. His big form, however, in fact, he has backed it up with 2 good races this year. Not to mention, last year he ran 99 going 5 furlongs at Parks. That's when he just missed in Emotional Jenny. So this is a very interesting long shot contender here. Rapid Dan. A few other horses to note. The one Classic Cash. I'm a little surprised he's in here in Laurel Dash and not in the Laurel Turf Cup or perhaps some other route stakes somewhere on the East Coast, like the Baltimore-Washington Turf Cup in 2 weeks at Laurel Park. This horse has won 5 out of 6. Only time he lost, he just didn't fire. He stalked the pace and came in 5th. However, he won his last 2 at Monmouth. Both of those starts were on the pace. We'll get a new jockey. Cresco is named. It'll just be interesting to see how he takes 2 6 furlongs because in the past, obviously, his best form has come at a mile and 16th. So I don't know if I bet him, but he is one just to keep an intrigued eye on. So 8 is a top play in here. 4 and 6 are the horses to consider as long shots. Race 6 is the all-along stakes named after the 1983 Horse of the Year and the mare who won the Washington, D.C. International that year. Mile and the 16th, 3 and up, fillies and mares on the turf course. There's a very interesting invader in here from California. That's number 7, Juno, who's been facing much, much better. She's been in graded stakes company 4 times this year and has lost all 4 times. Most recently, she was on the lead in the Yellow Ribbon Stakes at Del Mar. Held the lead almost the entire way around, eventually tired and came in last. Did run a very good figure, though, of 94, and that puts her in the mix with the top contenders. Prior to that, she had come in 3rd twice at the graded stakes level, 3rd in Wilshire and 2nd in the Royal Heroine, respectively. In the Royal Heroine, she earned a figure of 97, and that would probably win this race very, very easily. Juno, as long as the California trip does not wear her out too much, then she should be a strong contender. Number 3 is Light Up Our World, her 4th start of the year, her 4th start in the United States. The Irish-bred filly came in 2nd place in a Violet at Monmouth last time out. In fact, the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th place finishers out of that race are all coming back in here. My apologies, it's the 2nd, 3rd, and 6th place finishers out of that race. So 3 out of the 7 horses in the Violet are now returning in the all-along. And didn't earn a great figure there, earned an 88 and a 93 2 races earlier in the year. Both times lost by less than 5 lengths. This is a filly who's going to be coming a mid-pack and is going to be showing a good closing kick late. Definitely one to watch. The 5 on leave is a stakes winner, 3-back. She won the Perfect Sting Stakes at Belmont, was blasted off the board in De La Rose Stakes, a race where I really didn't like her at all, and I was astounded that she was 4-5, and wound up losing by a neck. Didn't run badly in that race, though. It was wide throughout over a Saratoga in a track that favored inside speed, so she was at a big disadvantage. Then ran in Boston Spa, just probably in over her head in that race, facing Lady Eli and the leg, came in 5th and last, beaten by 3 1/4 lengths. So she'll be a horse who will stalk the pace and make a big rally from there. Could go off as a favorite. Not worth betting, I think, at any odds lower than about 7-2 or 4-1. If you're playing a pick 4, however, she is one to keep in mind. It's worth noting, by the way, there's a pick 4 starting on race number 5. It covers 4 stakes races. You should play it because it's going to be great. That is 3 pick 4s today. The aforementioned one is races 2 through 5, then races 5 through 8, and races 9 through 12. So it's all nice and orderly there. So 3, 5, and 7 are the horses to keep in mind in the all-along stakes. If I had to pick one at the moment, I'd pick number 7, Juno. But of course, how I actually bet is subject to odds. Race number 7 is a Sensible Lady, Turf Dash Stakes. This begins the Rainbow Pick 6. It drew a field of 11 with 4 also eligibles. It's going 6 furlongs as well over the grass course, and there are a few horses in here who are very interesting, including a top 2 finishers out of the Smart and Fancy Stakes at Saratoga. Number 2, Miss Ella is the horse I bet in that race, and she was just coming from way out of it, possibly too far out of it. In that race, at one point, she fell behind by about 10 lengths, and in a 5.5 furlong race, you don't want to fall behind by 10 lengths. That's a bad way of doing business. Runner coming in second earned a big speed figure, lost to Ginger and Rai, who I'll get to in a moment. Prior to that, Miss Ella won the Caress Stakes at Saratoga over a wet grass course, had a big closing rally there, and got a job done. This is going to be a filly who's a mare, my apologies, coming from far behind. The closing kick is decent. The average closing pace figure of an 89 is a third best in the field behind Dare to Be, a Delaware Park Invader coming out of Allowance Company, and she might be a bit up against it, just 2 figures. Not very fast. And number 5, good seg, Ginger and Rye. A 2-time winner at Saratoga Meet, won at 11-1 odds against Allowance Company back on July 23rd. And a big figure there of 96. Then came in the Smart and Fancy, was bet a lot more in that race, off at 3-1, and did a very similar thing. They in mid-pack, angled wide, and just blew him away, got the job done. Virgo Lynch picks up Mount Ricardo Santana, who rode her in those 2 races, is not coming down here, unfortunately. It's his third start off the layoff. Horacio De Paz and Sagamore Fun. That combination is deadly. De Paz is 3-4-7 with horses second off of layoff. And in general, Ginger and Rai is 5-8 at Laurel and 9-13 in the top 2 on the grass lifetime. So these are all very good signs. Ginger and Rai, more likely than not, is going to be the favorite. Miss Ella, a likely second or third choice. And now I'll talk about the horse who will probably be second or third choice. That's number 7. Fire Key, another Saratoga shipper, another 2-time winner at Saratoga. This filly last race against none other than Company on August 28th just got up to win by a nose for Raheem Mirage, who at Belmont Park had not been very good with grass horses. Mirage rode this horse to a grass win twice at the meet. A very good sign there. Julian Pimentel gets the mount. She ran back-to-back career tops last time out, and really ever since she has gone to the grass, she has turned into a new filly. Prior to her racing on grass, just kind of a mediocre vet allowance horse. Since going to the grass, she's had 5 starts, 3 wins, and a second. This is going to be her stiffest test so far, as it's her first try in Stakes Company. She could slip through the cracks, though, in her wagering. Keep her in mind. Race number 8 here is the Laurel Turf Cup. I love these types of races. This is going 1.5 miles. So it's going to be, they'll start on the back stretch, go to the finish line, and then make one more lap around. Field of 11 lines up here, 2 horses to keep in mind. Number 6, Infinite Wisdom, is a stakes winner. Last one, John's Call Stakes, and pretty much a buzz going into this race was, if this horse gets to the front, it's over. And in John's Call, that horse had a very big pace advantage and flaunted it. Irado T sent this horse right to the lead, and he just jogged all the way around, won by a length, a big Brisnet figure there of 106. That would easily win this race, in a 93 and 95 in the 2 races prior to that. Lost to good horses while coming second in those 2 races, and finished ahead of some decent ones as well. So it's not a big class transition here. Mike Luzzy is getting the mount. Luzzy, originally based in Maryland, his son Lane rode here over the winter, now out at Remington Park in Oklahoma. Again, the name of the game for Mike is to get his horse to the front. You do that, it's over. You're in good shape. Because it's a similar pace dynamic. There's not a ton of speed here. Post 6, not a huge deterrent. Again, let's go to the front. If he gets to the front, the horse has good late pace figures as well, and it should be just a breeze in the park. Another horse who's interesting is number 11, Renown, for Chris Picarlo and the Elizabeth Boss Barn Horse has been pace compromised in his last few. He is the winner of this race last year. Got the job done at 6-5 in that race, stalking the pace and getting up to win by a length. He won't be 6-5 here. He'll probably be closer to 5-1 or 4-1. Then followed that up in the Sycamore Stakes at Keeneland. Then took a layoff, won a stakes over at Great Meadow in Virginia back in May. Since then has missed the board in 3 straight tries. This horse is very pace dependent. Last time out in John's Call, he fell a little too far behind, a slow pace, and he had a good speed figure and good late pace figures, but he was just nowhere to be seen at the end. He came in 5th after racing wide. Prior to that, he was 6th in the Cape Henla Penn Stakes, fell far behind then, off a slow pace. So, if Infinite Wisdom slows down the pace, Renown is going to be in a tough spot. However, if Dakota keeps his horse fairly close to the lead, he maybe a little bit too close, and he may not get the running style he necessarily likes. But if he is ridden well, then he's got a shot to possibly upset. So 6 and 11 are the 2 horses to really look at in the Laurel Turf Cup. Another horse to keep in mind in that race is possibly underneath is number 8, Mantoulin. Lost to Hello Don Julio, an excellent grass horse at Saratoga. 4th in the Arlington Handicap, 1 at a mile and a 3 back. We had a big figure of 101. He'll be mid-pack, and his other horse who is dependent on pace. If he gets an honest pace to run at, hopefully he'll be stalking the pace about 2 or 3 wide, and that will be all she wrote. Of course, his horse has proven he's an excellent grass horse. However, it's worth noting his dam is Soaring Softly, who was the first winner of the Breeders' Cup, Billy and Bear Turf, 1999. And now on to the big one. It's the Grade 3, $250,000 Frank J. DeFrancis Dash. 3 rolls and up, 6 furlongs, field of 7. Of course, there is no El Deal after Jorge Navarro's horses get kicked out of Laurel. He did transfer a horse over to Claudio Gonzalez. That's number 6, Troublelicious. He pulled that move last year as well. Horse finished under the care of Gonzalez for 3 races and didn't do much in any of those. And I don't think he's going to do much here either. He really has not shown the necessary form to win, with the exception of the John Riley Stakes, in which he won by a head back on July 30th. However, his figure declined fairly sharply in the Charles Hesse last time out. He was 2-5. It was a little bit out of his comfort zone in that it was at a mile and a 16th, but he still should have gone better. He did not. I'm suspicious. And the horse everyone is going to be betting in here is number 4, Whitmore, as they probably should, because he is the most likely winner in the race. He's raced 5 times so far in 2017. He's won 4 of them. He started off 2017 on a very impressive winning streak. He won 4 in a row, including 3 stakes races. Stalked the pace every time and just blew by and had a running style that made him seem tailor-made for 6 furlongs, which is why I was a big supporter of him running in the True North, while Twitter was clamoring for him to run in the Met Mile. I'm like, no, he's not a miler. He's a 6 furlong horse. He belongs at this distance. He didn't run too badly in that race. He came in 3rd. He was extremely wide. He had a decent closing kick. He has gotten some time off since then, and now comes back in his prep for the Breeders' Cup Sprint. Santana does not come in for this mount. Virgo Lynch picks up the ride on this Royal Chestnut Gelding, and he's coming off that layoff, and as noted, it's a 6 furlong race, and speed has been deadly at 6 furlongs. No one has closed at 6 furlongs so far. Horses have closed at 7, not at 6. Whitmore is a closer. He's going to come in from 5th or 6th place early on. So he's going up against a pretty well-established track trend. Can he still win? Of course. He's an excellent sprinter. Probably in the top 5 of all sprinters in the whole country. But everybody knows he's one of the best sprinters. So he'll be like 4-5 or 3-5. And under normal circumstances, that's not a betting proposition I would take. In this circumstance, no mas. I'm not going to bet him at those low odds under this at this track. And because of this, there are a few horses in here who should be scrutinized as possibly an upset contender. And that horse I'm looking at the most is number 7, Favorite Tail, who has just a boatload of early speed. Comes out of a Pennsylvania bred stakes at Parks last time out, and that was noteworthy because it was his first start in a year and a half. He had been a very solid sprinter in 2014 and 2015. In fact, he ran in this race in 2014. He wound up coming in 5th, beat by 4 legs to the Wade Lucas trade. Z Bros went off as a big long shot that day. He came in 3rd place in the Breeders' Cup Sprint back in 2015. Has not really been seen since, and ran a very good race for first off a long layoff. He dueled through a brutal second quarter. The opening quarter, not that fast, 22 and 2/5 seconds. The half was 44 and 3, so he had a 22 and 1 middle split thrown at him. Still held in there pretty well. Came in 2nd place. We had a big figure of 101. He ran a 10. He ran 104s during his big streak in the fall of 2015, and if he can come back to this form second off the layoff, he's got a lot of early speed. Only deterrent is the far outside post, which at most tracks is not a great thing for speed. A goal of Paco Lopez, just gut him out to the front, set him over to the inside, and if he gets a fairly clear advantage, watch out. Number 3, Awesome Banner, has come in the top 3 in the stakes 3 times in a row. He hasn't won. Last time out, he was a distant second behind the brilliantly fast El Deal, who is not here. Sorry, Navarro. Sorry, not sorry. Ran a figure of 97 there, and a 103 3-back when he was gunned down by Whitmore in a Maryland sprint, and in between that, he had the lead in Smile at Gulfstream and came second behind a very fast Imperial Hint. There's no one quite on level of Imperial Hint or El Deal in here, with the exception of Whitmore. And what's interesting is that Awesome Banner beat out Limousine Liberal in that Vanderbilt. Prior to Vanderbilt, Limousine Liberal had won 3 stakes in a row at Churchill Downs and was making a case as the best sprinter in the country. So the fact that he beat him, a good sign. Gaffalione gets the mount as he comes in here to ride in this stakes festival. Awesome Banner has not won from 6 tries this year. However, he's come close. And last year, he was 5 of 11, including ending a main part of 2016 with 3 straight wins. So a good sign all in all. So, and also a horse worth noting is number 5, Blue Moon Ace, who won the first running of the Cotillion Stakes, or no, it's not a Cotillion. God, it's a Coalition Stakes. I can't read. Over at Timonium back on August 26th, he won by 3.5 lengths over the speed favoring 2-turn oval at Fair. He earned a big figure of 104 first time out for Kevin Patterson. Prior to that, he earned a 98 while under Jamie Ness's care at Delaware Park. He'll be stalking the pace, possibly from the inside. He's 7 for 11 in the top 3 at Laurel Lifetime. He's got a shot of winning at possibly good odds. He could sneak under the radar a little bit at 5 or 6 to 1. So in conclusion, Whitmore is most likely winner. Favorite Tail is probably the best bet in DeFrancis Dash. Race number 10. It's Laurel Futurity. Another 6 following affair here. 2-year-olds. Big field. Top pick is number 5, Therapist. I was very impressed by his maiden win back on July 2nd at Belmont. He was far behind. He was extremely wide, and he just inhaled the field coming home. He won by 2 lengths. It was extremely visually impressive race. He ran a figure of 85. He was not seen at Saratoga meet. He did not return the work tab, in fact, until August 20th at Belmont, so he missed out on a chance to compete in the stakes at Saratoga. Nevertheless, he does return here. Eric Consell rode him on debut. He does not come in, so Daniel Centeno picks up the mount, and he is very dangerous. He'll be loving a big turns here at Laurel Park. Should get a decent pace to run it as there is some early speed. Should enjoy the extra distance. He won at 6 furlong, classed out. Not something anyone else in this field can say. He's the most likely winner. Hopefully here you won't take too much money, but I doubt it. Battle Station is number 7. He has early speed. He's almost the exact opposite of Therapist as far as form goes. He had a Despite in his last race, he dueled an opening quarter of 21-2 and 44-2 at Saratoga, even over the speed favorite grass. So that is a very impressive fraction. He held the lead late, just held on, ran a figure of 84. He will have other speed to contend with in this spot, but he is the only one who has proven he can withstand very fast fractions on grass and hold on. So he's got to be one. If you're playing a late pick 4, which starts in race number 9, he is a good horse for you. And I do think 5 and 7 are by far top 2. However, if you were looking for a third horse to use, I would use the 4, Majestic Dunhill. He finally broke through in his third career race. Last time out at Saratoga, he was 0-2 beforehand. Actually lost his very good horses, including El Dulce, back on July 29th, and lost in his debut on July 9th. Lost to Hemp Hemp Hooray and Ambassador Jim. Hemp Hemp Hooray came back to win his next race, while Ambassador Jim came in second in a very salty maiden race at Belmont Park last Sunday. Dunhill ran an 84 in his last race. He's been steadily improving in all 3. He'll be stalking the pace on the inside. And if you want to go a little bit deeper in a pick 4, he's one to throw in. So 5 and 7 are the top picks in Futurity. 4 is the one to use underneath. Race number 11. We're almost there, folks. You have 2 more to go. Non-winners of 1 other than allowance race going 6 furlongs. Field of 9. Top players number 7. Victory Shines. He's come in the top 2 in all of his last 5. He's 1-3 out of his last 5. He had a big figure of 92 last time out. He was off the pace, just couldn't get by. Still ran a great figure and has been showing a good late pace. He'll be on or near the lead. Cintron stays on, and he's the only one in the field to have shown he can run in the upper 80s to low 90s consistently. He's a top play. 5 is Swing Step. He broke his maiden for $25,000 at Laurel last out. Won by almost 8 lengths. Ran a big figure of 85. He's taken a not insignificant jump up in class up to Open Allowance Company. It will be interesting to see if he can even come close to duplicating that big debut. If he can, he's one to keep in mind. I was to keep in mind, except obviously you don't know beforehand. But he is the one to throw in pick 4s and pick 5s, as well as on the bottom of exactas or trifectas. 1 Mighty with the Party has the best last out figure in the field. He earned a 93, a little bit of a fluke element there, as he had not run better than 86 in recent times. He has early speed. It's a 6 furlong race, so early speed obviously a huge asset. He won a 5.5 last out when he encountered some early pace pressure and just shook the field off. He'll try to do the same thing again. He drew a post 3 in that race. This time he drew a post 1, all the better. So 7 is a top play in here. 1 and 5 are the choices to keep in mind if you want to really spread out. The 12th and final goes off at 6:40. 5.5 hours after the first post. Maiden claim is $16,000. 3 and up. Those and those. 5.5 furlongs. This race is just almost impossible. If you can pick the winner of it, God bless you. The horse I am leaning toward is number 9, Saturday's Raid. I know she's over 12, but she has shown some ability in the past. Makes her 3rd grass start of the year. Came in 2nd place against this level or similar in both of those. Has run figures up to a 79 in her past. And in that 2nd grass race of the year, she improved to figure 14 points. Went from a 58 to a 72. A good sign moving forward with this Pennsylvania bred. Mary Carmanos retains the mount. Guided her to a 4th place finish against fellow maiden claimers last time out in an off the grass affair. Disregarded that race. And this is a mare who definitely has a big chance in an almost impossible field. Number 12, Alyssa and a Lisa makes her first grass start on a Maryland circuit. Had not been showing much at Belmont Park. Figures were decent. Has run a 70 and a 74 in the past. The outside post, obviously trouble. Wayne Potts will be here traded for 2nd time. He was 23% over his summer meet. And could sneak through the cracks in wagering. And last but not least, number 2, Moonshine Lullaby had a rough trip in her debut back on July 16th. Came in 3rd, had a big figure of 72. Ran twice on dirt. Didn't show same aptitude. Just return now to the lawn and should be showing much more ability. So 9 to 12 is probably how I pick it in race number 12 at Laurel Park. That summarizes DeFrancis Dash Day. Follow at This Week at Laurel for all the updates on a big day racing. First post time is at 1:10 p.m. DeFrancis Dash is scheduled for 5:10. The first stakes is the Selima Stakes, and that goes off at 2:10 Eastern. So see you next week. I'm John Piasek. Thanks for watching This Week at Laurel, and good luck.